Yeah. Before I even do my intro, I'm in a weird angle. The camera's up there, mic there. I don't light up there. From the last video, really had to edit a lot, and even then, you can still really tell that my fire alarm. I mean, I live here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I've tuned it out. I'm pretty much immune to it now. But the rest of my videos, I can do nothing about that. They're going to have that in there, but I'm going to try as much as I can to edit that out as much as I can. But, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Maintenance people ain't finna come out right now to fix these fire alarms. And I wish it was the regular kind that I could just, do myself. But anyway, let's get into it. I gotta have my little co-star. She ain't gonna stay around. I mean, she will. She'll be like right here next to me, but she's not gonna do it. I haven't even done my intro. Forgive me. Hey, booze. I don't know if I'm looking at the camera or not. Hey, booze. What it do? Savante the Ghost. Realer than most. And this video is going to be another reaction. I honestly could not think of anything else to do, so I'm doing another reaction. But I wanted to do a specific reaction. Some horror stories, a horror short. The animated one's by Wansee Entertainment. It's a compilation of 16. I'm gonna be watching, well, probably not the whole 16, but I'm gonna watch some of them. And if y'all want to watch the whole thing, I'm gonna, leave the link. Y'all go check it out. And of course, I do not own this video, but let me introduce my co-star for this video. Come here, Damian. Her name is Diamond, but to call her, I'd be like, Damian. Damian. Here come my baby. This is my second oldest pepperoni. Diamond. She's so camera shy. Look, mama. No. No. She's a Jack Russell Chihuahua mix. I wish she would look at the camera. I love my babies. But yes, this is Diamond. You're not going to give them no eye contact. Okay. You can lay back down. I'm ruining her beauty rest. So, yeah. Let's get into it. And if you hear any sounds in the background, that will be my husky. He's going through crate training right now, so if you know, you know. He's a husky. They're very vocal. I apologize in advance. So, here we go.
It was wintertime, and Christmas was approaching. I was 25 years old, and I was going to meet up with some of my friends who lived on the other side of the city. It was a 4-hour drive from my place, so I decided to take my own car instead of a local cab. It was my first time going alone on such a long drive, and I felt nervous, but excited. At midday, I packed my bags, threw them in the trunk, and went off to meet my friends. It was a cold day, but the roads were clear. I didn't see much traffic as it was the holidays, and people would rather spend time with their families and friends indoors and stay off the roads. Now, I'm not the type of person to go straight to my friend's house. I like to take my time. I'm a social media freak, and I enjoy posting pictures pretty much all the time. So I found the journey an excellent excuse to post some extra pictures. The road I was taking had beautiful scenery, and the place where my friends lived was even more magical. I stopped a lot during my ride to take pictures. I was having a great time by myself. Well,
I don't like doing
that was until the weather suddenly changed. It was around 6 p.m., and I was still driving.
A friend with me.
I still had a long way ahead of me. And that's when it started to snow. Not just a dusting of snow. It was thick and heavy.
Why it sound like
After 15 minutes or so, the roads were already covered with a few feet of snow. I felt anxious, since it was getting dark and I wasn't even halfway through the drive. My car slowed down, and I had to force it to run on the empty roads. The heavy snow didn't stop. I decided that I would stop at the closest gas station I could find, but unfortunately, I couldn't find one for a while. An hour later, I finally saw some lights shining from the distance. It was a gas station. I pressed the accelerator, rushed to the station, parked my car, and went inside quickly. Just as I entered, a strong snowstorm started. The gas station had a little shop tucked away with some chairs to sit on. The guy at the counter was an ordinary fellow. He didn't really talk much. He only asked me where I was going in such harsh weather. After that, I bought some chips and drinks and sat down in the furthest chair from him. It was night now. I sat, munched on my food, and scrolled through an Instagram. Then, suddenly, the shop's door opened. I looked up, and a very weird-looking man entered. He had long, greasy hair, was wearing a long coat, and had a very grim expression. I saw him buy some cigarettes, and he sat down a few chairs away from me. He didn't look at me at all. At first, I ignored him, but then he started smoking. Since the shop was small and the smoke filled the air quickly, the shopkeeper told him to stop, but he didn't listen. He couldn't ask him to leave because of the storm.
Now, as the owner, I'd be like, well, you can carry your ass right back out there into that snow. Let that damn cigarette warm your ass up. Nah. If I say stop, you stop. I ain't got no time.
So he didn't say anything else. I, on the other hand, hated cigarettes. The weird guy was looking down, breathing very heavily as he smoked. He could beat your ass. It was as if he was breathing in my ears. So when he took out his fifth cigarette, I lost my temper and angrily told him to stop. He looked at me for a couple of minutes.
What the fuck?
His big eyes were red with anger. But then he smiled and stopped smoking.
Oh, hell no. That boy's a thievish raccoon.
Unnerving. I sat down again and distracted myself on my phone.
I know you did.
Shortly afterwards, my friend called me, asking why I hadn't reached their place yet. And I told him the whole story, and he said the storm would soon be over, and I shouldn't worry. When I hung up, I noticed the weird guy staring at my phone with deep interest. I was afraid that he was thinking of stealing it. But to my relief, after some time, he got up to leave. At the door, he stopped, looked back, and screamed loudly before running away, scaring the crap out of me and the shopkeeper. He didn't return after that. At 10:30 p.m., the storm ended, and I immediately left after thanking the shopkeeper. I went into my car, started it, and drove off. For some time, I drove in silence, then I heard a noise. It sounded like heavy breathing. My heart rate shot up and my hands got all sweaty as the breathing sounded so familiar and so close.
Wait.
I looked through my...
Paul, how the hell the breathing sound familiar? You know that you just met this man and his breathing has such a familiar tone to it that you remember him. You remember the breathing. It sounded so familiar. It sounded like the breathing of that guy I just met about like 5 minutes ago. I mean, I know he was crazy and, left a little impression on you, but you gonna remember bruh breathing?
Rear view mirror and screamed. The weird guy from the shop was sitting in my back seat, smiling at me. I pressed...
See, no, he would have caught a Judas effect real quick. I'm not playing. Why are you in my car? I got the right to beat that ass. That's what the issue is in half of these situations. Beat ass. Point blank. You got the right. Especially if I got a small ass bubble. But it includes my vehicle. You get in my shit, you come in my shit, near my shit, touch my shit, breathe in my shit, sneeze on my shit. I don't care what the hell you do. I take it as I have the right to beat that ass. It is what it is. I wouldn't be in these situations because I'm going to beat that ass. I'd be in jail. That's what I'd be.
The brakes very hard. Got out of the car and started running. I felt him running after me too, yelling at the top of his lungs. The road was empty, and I felt hopeless as I knew he was faster than me.
He's not going to be able to move.
I only looked back once to see him running like an unnatural being.
Why he look like...
holding a knife in his hand. I increased my pace, still wondering how on earth he got inside my car. I might have forgotten to lock the door when I first left to go to the gas station. But now,
Fucking up.
it was too late for regret. My life was at risk because some psychopath was after me. Then I saw some headlights at a distance.
Hell,
I started
watch that run
waving
your
my
ass
hands like a
over.
maniac, screaming for them to stop. They did, and it turned out to be my friend. He had come to pick me up as he was worried since
You
I
didn't
was
show
pretty
up.
late
Yeah.
and thought something went wrong. I
That's a
looked
good
back
friend.
and I saw that guy was gone.
Immediately
Got
jump
inside
in the
my
car. He
friend's
wouldn't
car
have got a
and told
chance
him
to.
everything.
Hold on. My friend wouldn't have got a chance to even fucking stop. Once I realize that it's you, I'm jumping in while you still kind of coasting to a stop. I'm not doing it. No. This dude had a whole night. Well, I wouldn't be in a situation like I said, 'cause I beat his ass while he in the back seat, whatever. But I'm telling everything that happened. I'm explaining what the dude looked like. I'm giving your whole fucking profile. I'm calling the cops.
He called the cops and they arrived shortly after. We all went to my car first and noticed some marks made by a knife in the back seat. The cops
He's
couldn't
back there
find the
playing
guy
tic-tac-toe
anywhere.
on the back of your shit.
After some investigation, they let us leave. I drove my car and my friend drove his car back to his place. The
How would
cops
that get-
never found the guy. And to this day, I still wonder what would have happened if my friend didn't turn up that night.
The murderer in front of my house is wrong.
I was 12 years old when this happened. My grandmother just got home from the hospital because she had a stroke. She couldn't go up to the second floor of our house, in which her room was located. So my uncle, my little brother, and I decided that we were going to sleep in her room for a while. Before this day happened, my aunt bought a new air conditioner, so the old one would be removed. And of course, there was a hole in the wall for the air conditioner. I covered the hole with some kind of small box before working on the wall, so the air wouldn't come in. Anyway, back to the situation. My uncle and I were playing a mobile game at 3 a.m. when this happened. We played for about an hour or so until my little brother had fallen asleep. While I was paying attention, I suddenly heard a small scratching sound coming from the hole on the wall where I covered it with a box. Its sound was like someone trying to remove it with something. However, I just ignored it at first, because I thought it might be a cat trying to remove the cover. After 5 minutes, my uncle heard the sound and he whispered in my ear saying, "Did you hear that sound?" I said,
I'm just sitting
"Yeah,
here looking
I heard
at
it
this
too,
box for no
but
reason.
maybe it's just a cat. Forget about it." After that, we had forgotten
The
about
brick
the sound
inside?
and we just played again. Until that moment.
You know what? I'm lying. The moment I realize there's a hole in the wall, I'm not going to sleep until I feel secure about it. I'm from the hood. Holes in the wall, nah, I can't do all that. I'm out to I don't know. Extra layers on layers on layers on layers of duct tape. I don't know, something. I would have figured something out, but just putting a box in front of it wouldn't have been enough for me. For me to sleep in there. Like, shit. Granny got to bring her ass back up these stairs. I don't know.
All of a sudden, my uncle quickly put down his cell phone and started to search with the flashlight. "What's wrong?" I asked him, but he pointed his finger on his mouth and pointed it to the window.
I mean, like,
It was quiet outside. "That's weird. I heard someone's footsteps." He talked to me sitting back next to me. I tried to say that it's nothing, but this time I heard those footsteps.
the
Someone was outside walking around with a creaking sound.
Somebody out there.
So we eventually decided to
walking.
look for it, opening the box cover. But before we could get closer, my little brother began to scream. We were shocked by that, but then
Oh, he's
we just
crazy.
laughed, thinking our reaction was silly. I talked to my little brother and asked him what happened. He said that he had a nightmare. We laughed again, much bigger this time. Bump! We abruptly froze when we heard loud footsteps from a roof away from us. My heart dropped. "What was it?" my uncle said with an anxious voice.
A spirit.
We then stayed away from the
Something.
wall and started panicking. I started to think that it might be a thief who was trying to enter our house. What if he would try to kill us?
Through a
How
little
are we going to
hole?
stop him?
It's a
What should I
small-ass
do?
thief.
However, despite all my worries, nothing happened after that. There were no footsteps anymore, but my uncle and I had
That
to
boy
stay up
shaking.
until the next morning, shivering together.
I'm going to my room.
A few days
Grandma
later,
just
my
got to roll
grandpa
over.
covered the wall with cement.
I sleep on
And
the floor.
that day, we were watching the local news, and we heard that one of our neighbors, who lived right next to us, had been
got
murdered.
bodied.
They also
Damn.
reported that the suspect has not been found, so the cops were struggling to arrest him. We just couldn't believe the news. We just watched the news with our mouth open. That moment became the worst nightmare of my whole life. What if I dared to try to remove that small
You would've got
box
stabbed
to
in the
see
eye.
outside on that day?
True horror Ouija board.
For this story, my name will be Charlie.
Okay.
Years ago, my first year of college, I lived in a dorm. But if only I knew what was going to happen. I earned a scholarship to college for baseball, and all the players lived in one dorm. Being that I was a freshman, they roomed me with a senior so he could show me what right looks like. He was a pretty tough guy who no one would mess with, so I felt like I was in good hands.
Captain America.
It was the winter, and by that time of the school year, I was pretty set in my ways and comfortable. I was invited to a house party that one of the sororities were throwing, so I went with a few friends. When we got there, it was like any other party. People were outside, and some were inside having fun.
Getting lit.
While inside, there was music playing, along with people playing video games in one room. And it looked like a board game going on in the other. That was
Ouija
upstairs. After a while, I went upstairs to
some
see
Ouija
why anyone
boards.
would be playing a board game at a party. When I got to the room, I noticed that it was the most quiet room in the house.
Just a little. Just want to throw it in here about me. Little fact about me. I hate board games. I really won't play any of them. Candling, I hate all of them. I don't like board games. A few card games. So you can imagine I was like that one kid didn't nobody really want to play with because I didn't like board games. Video games was all I was into. But yeah.
Which was odd to me. When I walked in the room, there were 4 girls and a guy sitting
Damn
at a
sure
table.
wouldn't be playing with no Ouija
I
board.
asked what was going on,
I don't play with no
and they
spirits.
said they were using the Ouija board. I thought it sounded interesting, so I joined.
Of course you
But I
did.
never really believed in that type of stuff. While we were messing with the board, it said that there was a girl in the room. But I think that one of the other people that were playing moved it, so I left. That's when unexplainable stuff would happen to me in my dorm. I'd hear laughing in
didn't
the
say
hallway
goodbye.
at odd times of the night. Knocks on the window. And I started to have bad dreams. I told my roommate, but he told me it was stress from our upcoming midterms.
Where do I
That
work on
went
no
on for
damn
about 2
midterms?
Then one night
Bitches
everything
is choking
changed
me with
for
their
both
hair
of
in my
us.
sleep.
I remember it being a Thursday night when this happened. I was asleep in the middle of the night, and all I heard was, "Charlie,
Trunks.
Charlie,
I
Charlie, wake up."
thought they said trunks. I'm like, what? Vegeta?
I remember making noises and being half asleep, but I acknowledged him. Then he said something that woke me up
Why
immediately.
he look like that?
Charlie, what the fuck is that in the corner?
I looked in the corner of
His
the
voice
room.
so
and
hurt. How he look? I was Charlie. What the fuck is that? I'm not asking no questions. Charlie should have been up. I'm
I entered the
gone.
room, and I swear there was a silhouette of a
Oh
girl.
hell no. This
I
is
was
her
so
room
afraid
now.
that I
This is your
jumped
new
off the top
roommate.
bunk
I'm
and I told
out.
my roommate to
She
get
can
up
have
and
this
run,
shit
but
with
he
you.
was so petrified. He was under his covers quivering. Then she
Oh,
spoke.
big Captain America
I
dude.
seemed so scared. All I wanted to do was play with you.
I don't play with little girls.
I told him I'm out, and we both ran out of our room.
Okay.
He was yelling as
What you
she's
been-
talking.
I did that
After
first.
that, we were both so shaken that we
Prioritize.
never went back to that room. We called the police, but when they came, they never found any girl. I don't know if it was
Of course they
because
did. She's
of
a
the house
spirit.
party, Ouija board game, or coincidence, but that was a moment that I'll never forget. To this day,
I went
I
crazy
still
and
hear
started
odd
doing
noises
drugs.
throughout the night wherever I go.
My neighbor was a serious stalker.
When I was 7 or 8 years old, a man moved to my neighborhood. He was around his 60s and introduced himself to me. His name was Tom. He was the only
Fuck
one
off,
who
Tom.
spoke English fluently in our neighborhood, but he always tried to speak our native language. He seemed really nice at first.
Why is you playing
One
with
day
her
after
dolls?
school, my friends and I saw a new cafe in our neighborhood. We were curious and wanted to know how many desserts they had, so we stopped by and looked inside. Then we heard someone
Tom.
say, "Hello, kids." He then said, "Come on in. You can have all the desserts you want for free."
I'm good.
Without
I'm
thinking,
finna go to this dollar
we
store
went
and get some honey
inside
buns.
and
I'm
stayed
good.
there for 2 hours.
Hostess.
After that, we
Look.
soon stayed there
Where are you?
almost every day after school.
Almost every day after school, meaning y'all just, where are your parents? Like, you just decided you gonna hang at this dude. Oh my God, parents, do something with your children. You don't just, the fact that they felt comfortable enough to just hang out with this dude after school instead of going right back. I didn't know that was a thing. When that bell, I'm gone, straight home. If I'm walking home, I'm walking home. If I'm catching the bus, I'm catching the bus. If I gotta ride, but I'm going straight home. Like, my parents did not allow that. Like, you just hanging, especially if I would have hit my mama up. Yeah, I'm hanging at Tom's house. Yeah. The one that can barely speak. Yeah. With the bakery. Yeah. He be feeding us cake. Yeah. I wouldn't have got past that first year with my mama. She would have been like, no. Bring your ass home. Do not pass go.
Everyone started to like Tom.
She said,
One
Tom.
day, we went to his cafe like we usually did, but for some reason, I felt kind of uncomfortable.
Are you alone?
Because at some point, I noticed that there were only kids inside his shop. Tom came to me and said, "Hey, I saw you yesterday with a cat. Do you like cats?" I said
I like
yes,
dogs.
and he proceeded to talk to me more. He told me that he has 8 cats in his house and showed me pictures
they're
of his
cute,
cats.
but fuck with.
All of a sudden,
A
one of
picture of
his
your friend.
pictures from inside his wallet fell to the
Or a
floor.
picture of you.
I picked it up and I could see a girl's face with blonde curly hair and green eyes. I thought that she was his granddaughter,
Busted.
but what he told me next was a huge shock. He said, "Oh, this is my wife. She lives in London right now." I was confused because the girl in the picture was just a kid, maybe 14 or 15 years
You
old.
fucking psycho. How do
I
y'all let
thought
these type
that
of
he
people
was
in your
lying or
neighborhood without knowing?
something. Then I got up.
I got the fuck out.
Oh, I forgot. My mom is waiting
Don't
for
let
me.
me talk to crazy ass
So I
man.
quickly left the shop and went back home. Then I just hugged my mom. The next day when I got to school,
teach your ass
there
to
were
go straight
policemen
home.
everywhere.
Don't
I
do that,
didn't
please.
understand what was going on. Then one police officer walked over to me and he said, "Kid, you have to come with us." They also called my parents, so we went to the police station together. It turned out that Tom's warrant was served. They found lots of data on his computer about the young girls who were raped by him. He even
Nasty
lied
motherfucker.
about his name. His real name was Hardin. The worst and most horrible thing was when they entered his room. The entire wall was covered with
He
my
was planning to
pictures.
get you next.
When they said this to my parents, I was terrified, so I fainted. The police arrested him, and he was put in jail for several years. Now I'm 18 years old, but I am still afraid. According to my neighbors, he's returning to our neighborhood.
What?
I don't want to go out, and I don't even know what to do. If anyone has any advice, please help me and let me know what I should do.
That's what you do. That's what you do. Keep you a glizzy right up under that. Rock-a-bye. Right up under that pillow. That. Did they let him move back into the neighborhood? Like. I don't know. And it says, was this a true story? I don't know. I don't know. Girl, sleep with you a gap. That's all I know. It's on a serious note. When you get in situations like that, I can't say not to be scared because it's a scary situation, you know, especially when it happened to her when she was so young. I'm talking real life stuff. I know it's a animated thing, but like real life, if you're in this situation, get help. Talk to people, let people know what's going on. Don't ever feel like you got to be quiet because the person that's stalking you or whatever is making you scared that they're gonna make it look like you're the bad person or whatever. And then if you do get out of that situation and you're scared they're gonna come back, try not to let that fear rule your life, because who knows? They live in their life. They did what they did. Who knows how many other times they've been doing this? They probably on to the next person, unfortunately. But try not to let that fear of that happening, or the fear that they put in your life, rule your life, because then you going through your life and they still have power over you. But just a little, thing. That's the last one. If y'all want to watch the rest of them, go to Wansee Entertainment. It's the 16 Horror Stories animated compilation of June 2020. So yeah, just pick that one. Yeah, just cause. It's like the theme of that one was stalkers or something, but that's what I was talking about. It's crazy. You can't, even if they get arrested or you end up offing them or something, I don't know, you still live with that fear that they'll somehow come back. So it's like you develop is it PTSD? Yeah, you develop something like that. So it's sad that even after the situation is done, you still have to deal with that. But that is creepy. But yeah, I wanted to do a quick little video of some horror stuff. It's like I said, it's October. I wanted to do some horror themed some horror themed stuff. If there's any horror videos or anything that y'all want me to watch, hit me up, let me know. Leave it in the comments or let me know. Cause there's plenty that's I wanted to check out, but I wanted to do something that I didn't want it to be the same stuff back to back or whatever. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, because it's a good thing. It is. And Diamond, say bye-bye. Come here, mama. Say bye-bye. Sorry, y'all. We out.